Hello, and welcome back to another episode of AMG Let's Chat, a podcast where we talk about autism, movies, and gay things. In this episode, I have a movie review for you all. Very exciting, I know. Now, I recently watched this movie, and it got a lot of backlash. This movie is titled Miller's Girl, and it is with Jenna Ortega and Martin Freeman. And it is a movie about a student-teacher relationship. Now, from all of the reviews that I heard and how angry this movie was making people because of the age difference between the two lead actors, I thought that there was going to be explicit sexual contact in it. Okay, so I went into this movie believing that there was a valid reason for all of these viewers to be angry and upset. It's like, yes, okay, there's a very, very large age difference between the two actors. But first of all, they are both adults. Second of all, they're both consenting. Third of all, they did it in a controlled environment. Fourth, they signed a contract, they're willing to do it, they're not being forced into it. So they chose to do it. Before I get any further, I do just want to mention that this episode will contain spoilers to the movie Miller's Girl. So if you have not seen it, I recommend pausing this episode and going and watching it right now and coming back once you've finished. Now, this movie is deemed a thriller comedy. I didn't find it too funny. I didn't find it too scary. I feel like it doesn't fit either of the two genres that it was placed into. It almost felt like, I understand why they call it a thriller because it's very psychological and it pulls with the strings of your mind. But I wouldn't deem it a thriller. I would deem it more of a suspenseful movie. It wasn't funny. There were some funny aspects to it, but there wasn't really a comedic presence to the plot. It was more of the characters said something funny in their daily life as real people would, but the plot wasn't comedic. Now, in box office, this movie made $889,000. The budget for this movie was $54 million. And its rating on IMDb is 2.5 stars. Like I said previously, going into this movie, because of all the complaints that I saw online, I thought there was going to be explicit sexual encounters between the two lead characters. But there wasn't. There was a scene with kissing, which in all defense was a fantasy. Like, yes, the actors still had to act it out, but in the plot line, the characters never touched each other. So there was kissing. There was an implied sexual scene, but nothing was shown. Literally nothing. There was no inappropriate touching. There was no bare skin-on-skin contact. Like, it's not a sexually explicit movie, which everyone was deeming it to be online, and everyone was going crazy over about how it was extremely inappropriate and sending wrong messages because of the age difference between the two lead actors. My opinion, relationships like this do happen in real life. It is not uncommon for student-teacher relationships to happen, whether it's legal or illegal. In the sad cruelness that is our world, it does happen. This movie felt very unfinished. After watching it, it left me with more questions than answers, such as, where were Cairo's parents? Multiple times throughout the movie, she claimed that they were away on a business trip, but they never came back. And no one ever wondered why the parents were gone. All that was implied was that they were very expensive lawyers. I I think that they're dead. I think that Cairo's parents are dead, and she is living out of the estate with their money and not telling anybody that they're dead, claiming that they're away on a business trip. Because that makes the most sense, and it also adds that more underlying sinisterness, is that a word? I don't know. I'm going to use it anyway. Sinisterness to the plot, that they're trying to make a thriller that isn't really a thriller to begin with. Another question that it left me with is, what happened between Winnie and Boris Fillmore? The other student that was trying to seduce the other teacher. What happened with them? There was never a finish to their story. We don't know what happened. Not to mention, the movie has a very, very unsatisfying ending. It ends with a monologue spoken by Jenna Ortega. And it is as she is walking up the steps to the building where she is about to tell the school board the lies that she is telling about the teacher, because she is claiming that her and the teacher did have inappropriate contact, which would get him fired and investigated. This is what she's claiming because the teacher, what's his name again? Jonathan Miller. Because Jonathan Miller turned her down, said the relationship would be inappropriate, so Cairo goes and cries helpless victim to the school board, so now the school board's investigating Miller. But the movie ends, and I mean ends, rolls the credits, ends, as Cairo is walking up the stairs to testify in front of the school board. That's how the movie ends. We don't know what happens after that. It's like, does Jonathan Miller go free? Does everything clear up? Like, there is so much plot that could happen. What if Miller loses her job and him and her can finally be together because he's no longer his teacher? He is no longer her teacher. Or what if he doesn't lose his job and Cairo is the one who gets in trouble? There are so many loose ends in this movie that it makes it very hard for me to enjoy it. Cinematically, aesthetically, it's a beautiful, beautiful movie. The cinematography, the color palette, the clothes, what they've done to make the characters in depth, the personalities that they've given the characters, the setting, the scene that they've created. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous. They've created this town. Another question that it left me with is why the neighborhood that Cairo lives in, why is it abandoned? Why does no one walk through the woods in school? I think that it was originally meant to be a series and they chopped it up to make it a movie. Not to mention, it is a relatively short movie. Most movies these days are around 1 hour and 45 minutes to over 2 hours long. This movie was only an hour and a half, which when you think of a movie, you usually think an hour and a half, but movies these days are getting much, much longer. It was a very unsatisfying movie. It had such great potential, and that's what frustrates me about it. My total star rating would be a 4 out of 10. Would I recommend this movie to other people? I would. Would I watch it again? No, I would not. Thank you guys for joining me on this episode of AMG Let's Chat. I know it was short and simple, but it was just a little movie review. There will be many more of these in the future. And I want to know what you guys thought of this movie now that it's out, available on Netflix. Now that people have started to watch it. Did you like it? Did you feel the plot was unfinished? Would you recommend this to other people? What was your overall take of this movie? What was your take about how they portrayed the student-teacher relationship? I want to hear what you guys think about this. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will see you all next time. Bye!